Tonight at 9, Biden pardons Hunter. The president says his son had a political target on his back inside the breaking news from the White House. And an officer-involved shooting in Maryland, where police say they fired rounds at a man with a long gun, the latest in the unfolding investigation.
And temperatures are falling into the 20s and teens overnight. How chilly will it be as you make your way to work on your Monday morning?
Holy cow, there's so many great, awesome people out there.
Memorial flight home. A local pilot died in a plane crash taking rescued dogs to their new homes. The ashes of a dog who also died were given to the man's family. We've got that tearful reunion and the moment a man's faith in humanity was restored. Plus, the Cyber Monday deals are incoming. The tech tools to help you identify discounts and see if you're saving cash this holiday season.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Ben Dennis. We begin tonight with some breaking news. President Biden has pardoned his son Hunter for his federal tax and gun-related convictions. Hunter was slated to be sentenced this month in Delaware and in California. President Biden previously said he would not pardon his son, but tonight he is now saying, quote, it is clear that Hunter was treated differently. Also saying, quote, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filled out a gun form. Those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions, but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties, they're typically given non-criminal resolutions. It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. We will have more online at DCNewsNow.com, including as we hear responses from Republican leadership. All right, back to your local news. New details tonight after an armed standoff in Maryland where officers fired shots at a man they say was armed yesterday. Howard County police say they were first called to American Faro Lane in Laurel for a domestic disturbance. Officials say body camera video shows a woman on an upper ledge of a home and a man at a window inside with a long gun. Adding, the man repeatedly refused to drop that gun. Two officers fired shots. Police say when they went inside, they found the man dead. It is still unclear if the man died from the shots fired by officers or if they came from his own gun. No officers were hurt. Well, also tonight, Prince George's County is mourning the loss of a local leader. He was killed in Upper Marlboro over the weekend. Officials say 33-year-old Cornelius McDonald was shot outside of a restaurant on Lotsford Court. That's where he died. McDonald's LinkedIn profile says he worked in case management and in youth mental health services. PG County Council member Walla Blagay releasing a statement saying, quote, let us come together to honor Neil's memory by standing united against violence and supporting one another during this difficult time. Well, 3 people and 1 dog are without a home tonight after fire in Tacoma Park. Crews responded to a house near the intersection of Hickory and Pine Avenues earlier today. Officials say the cause likely electrical. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Meantime, D.C. police are looking for these suspects they say are connected to a burglary early this morning. They say that multiple suspects forced their way into a business on Pennsylvania Avenue in Southeast around 4 a.m. near Catherine Watkins Elementary. Police say they stole merchandise and left.
One thing that I realized is, this event has changed my view of the world. I was a little bit jaded, thinking there's a lot of, not so nice people out there, but it completely changed my mind where, holy cow, there's so many great, awesome people out there.
Tonight, the memory of a Fairfax County pilot continues to be honored after his fatal flight to New York State, taking rescued dogs to their new homes. The remains of one of those dogs killed in that plane crash are back in the DMV. DC News Now's Dave Laval reports on tonight's very tearful reunion.
Flights land and take off from the Leesburg Executive Airport all the time, yet very few, if any, have been as significant as the one that arrived here late Sunday afternoon. A solemn moment as Chris Moon presents the family of Sue Kim the ashes of the dog Lisa to Kim's family. The ashes will be buried with the pilot who died in the November 24th plane crash near Albany, New York.
Thank you so much for all your effort. Thank you, sir. Our family is very grateful to have all the friends and family and everybody supporting us.
Kim of Springfield flew to upstate New York to take 3 dogs to a no-kill shelter. 2 dogs survived. Kim had been part of a group of pilots who flew pets rescued from natural disasters to new homes. Moon is another of those pilots. He returned to Leesburg after he completed Sunday's 4-hour round-trip flight to Albany. Moon said it's the least he could do to pay tribute to his friend.
We needed those remains to be brought down here before the memorial, and they were going to ship them, and that involves a little bit of hope that they're actually going to make it on time.
As for the dogs that survived the crash, we've been told they will be brought back to the DMV once they've recovered from their injuries and be adopted by a friend of Kim's. Kim's funeral will take place on Thursday. The family is still finalizing the details. At the Leesburg Executive Airport in Virginia, Dave Lavelle, DC News Now.
Truly tragic story there, Dave. Thank you for sharing that. All right, changing gears now, a live look at Reagan. National time is 9:06. It's there that many folks are heading home from their Thanksgiving holiday trips. And those who hit the skies today had to deal with some of the worst of that holiday traffic. According to the TSA, the Sunday after Turkey Day, that's the single busiest day for U.S. airports over the last 3 years. Last year, just under 3 million people traveled on Sunday, compared to 1.5 million on Thanksgiving Day. One flyer we talked to says that he is going to change his travel plans next year to avoid this rush.
Probably travel a week in advance or a few days before a holiday, and then probably a few days after the holiday instead of right after.
Looking ahead to Christmas, NerdWallet says the best days to avoid crowds during holiday travel, December the 18th and 19th. All right, just before we get to your local forecast, it's coming. We are seeing some flurries in Montgomery County. Right here, take a look. The video sent in from our Haley Maiwan in Poolesville. Well, as Derek Thurman, meteorologist in for Scott Sumner, is going to make mention, we saw some thicker flurries in parts of the DMV. Derek, it's that cold weather that's sweeping through that's on the top of mind of many of us.
Very chilly out there indeed, and traffic today along 70 and 270 was something else along with it. Looking at temperatures currently, they're into the 30s and 20s, but some locations are going down into the teens overnight tonight going into their Monday morning commute. It's going to be awfully frigid as we begin our day Monday. We do have, of course, a little bit of snow as well as some sprinkles down and across southern Maryland at the moment. Even seeing some of that as well as areas south of I-66 as well. All this is starting to move out of the region. Hopefully we will settle in for a nice quiet night. You can see where the potential for these flurries extend from Frederick down to Leesburg, even further down towards the south through Manassas, Culpeper, and Orange, and going over down in towards Waldorf as well. Seeing this area in here. DC, we're probably missing out on some of that as well as things quieten down across the valleys as those humidity values are falling down into the 40s and 50% range as we head in towards this evening. Looking at futurecast, we're looking at temperatures into the overnight going down into the 20s and 30s, but what will we make it up to tomorrow? Have more details coming up in your forecast.
All right, Derek, we'll see you in just a bit. Today, President Joe Biden did honor the memory of those who died from AIDS and a lot of the advancements in healthcare in the past several decades. An AIDS memorial quilt was spread on the White House South Lawn for the very first time in observance of World AIDS Day. Biden invited survivors, family members of those who have died, and advocates to memorialize the lives lost to the epidemic. The president emphasized the federal government's support for the more than 1 million people in the U.S. living with HIV, which can lead to AIDS.
Together, we honor the spirit of resilience and the extraordinary strength of people, families, and communities affected by HIV/AIDS. And we send a clear message to the nation and to the world that we stand united in the fight against this epidemic.
There was also a red ribbon draped on the White House, a symbol of support, awareness for those with HIV and AIDS. Tomorrow, D.C. is hosting a World AIDS Day concert downtown. Live performances, free resources, and more at the Hamilton Live Theater on 14th Street. That happens at 6 p.m. Well, as much as we love Thanksgiving Day meals, they can be a challenge to finish the leftovers before going bad. Good news, DC News Now, Skylar Salas talked to a local chef about creative ways to make the most out of what may still be sitting in your fridge.
Whether it's your dad's fried turkey or your mom's mac and cheese, sometimes eating Thanksgiving leftovers can become tiresome after a few days. For Chef Paul Taylor, the go-to at his restaurant is a sandwich using most of the holiday's signature dishes.
We make a mayonnaise that imitates the flavors that you would get out of gravy. So we add a little miso, we add some turkey gravy to it. We add some of those herbs that you would find in turkeys.
If you don't want everything, Taylor suggests using an individual leftover as a small element in a different dish.
Stuffing waffles are delicious. Savory waffles are very fun, especially if you have little ones running around, like getting to use the waffle machine, super cool, a lot of fun. Potatoes, mashed potatoes, you can form them into patties and use them as kind of like a hash brown, right? You could egg wash them, add some panko to the outside, give them a little light fry. There are really cool ways to use all of these things.
Taylor says investing in a vacuum seal is a good idea to help you savor your leftovers months later. It also ensures you're getting the most out of the time and money you spent on the Thanksgiving Day meal.
That way, one, you can keep your refrigerator and sort of a freezer in a very organized manner, and two, you'll have the ability to unfreeze something and, enjoy Thanksgiving in, the middle of January or February.
In Prince George's County, Skylar Salas, DC News Now.